Hello, everyone. Okay, hello to Dak and Happy Pawn, Nicole, Advik, Yongjal, Yegna, and so on. Rohan, happy to see all of you again. This was from last time. Anyone can explain why did Kamsky play h4? You can just write in the chat. Why did he play that? Somebody remembers? To lock the position. Well, that's one way to put it, no? We could be a little more specific also. Fix the pawn, exactly, Young Jiao. The pawn would like to go to h5, fixing the pawn on h6. He used this plan in the game and it worked out wonderfully. If we have one last look at this, let me come back to the game. Give me just one moment. Trying to find this one from last Thursday. Okay, here we are. Kamsky versus Rager. So, yeah, what happened here? He played h4, king f8, king f1, king e7, and here came the important move that I wanted everybody to remember. That's right, Shooting Star, Santos, Yongjal, Advik, Dumb. He won the game thanks to this move, right? That's important to understand. Black had a chance to take on h4, but in that case, white would take back and would then, if black had taken on h4 one move earlier, yeah, we understand that this is beneficial for white, of course, and we can later expand with f4 also. But in the game, they played king e7 and Hollow Blade. What did you play here, Hollow? Sorry, let me bring you up. You play the key move in this game. Why do we do this? Because we check the color of the bishops. We see that supposedly we are arranging the pawns on the right color, as we saw in a bunch of other examples. Later on, does anyone remember? Yeah, the class started. I was a little late, Cesar. So can anyone describe Kamsky's further plan? I'm just curious. Further plan. What exactly did he do? Take a knight e4, but he didn't do it so quickly, right, Hollow? He didn't do it. I mean, we can check the game. Let's check one more move. He played rook c8. So, did Kamsky take on e4 and play knight e4? Anyone remembers? There were some considerations here, right? If we play this, supposedly black goes back with the bishop. What might happen here? So I know he played king e2 in the game, but I'm just asking you, why didn't he play like this? Why not this? Isn't that simpler? He first had to improve the position. Exactly. You sound like a chess coach, Cesar. Aha, f5 is coming now. And if I go e5, who remembers which kind of move black could consider in this position? Aha, we could play c4. Now we are the ones fixing pawns. And you can see that black had an idea for undermining this pawn. That's right. We could try to bring the rook to c5 or maybe to d5 and target this pawn. So I think that's mainly why he was not in a hurry to play bishop takes e5. He knew he could do it later, right? And he slowly played king e2 first. Yeah, black took on d1. And if black had played rook d8 here, did we talk about this last time? I think we did, right? We did talk about this, yeah. So anyone, what was white winning? I think it was Brian who showed the plan here. Brian showed the plan last time, but maybe someone else can show it this time. Okay? The king comes up somehow. Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, but that's what we need to figure out, right? Chessart. All right, Chessart, we will invite you. Chessart will show us how white would win this. We'll do this quickly because we have another interesting endgame to look at today. Let's see. Now we can say it's a bit different, right? Because if black plays, let's say, c4, we don't have a rook coming to the fifth rank, and we can even go and attack this pawn, right? Chessart? Aha, you're right, Advik. King e3 and free pawn, no? King d4. So, okay, I'll play something else. I'll play something like this. Aha, I tried to bring up the king, but white was faster. Aha. And once I play some move here, let's say I go b6 to go a6 and b5. What did we say last time? Anyone remembers? What was the plan? 93. That was not the plan, was it? Or you have, well, we will see. We will see what you have in mind, Cesar. Oh, I see your point. You played like this because you didn't want the Black King to go there. Yeah, we understand you. You didn't play this because you felt nervous that they could play something like that. Although I guess in this case you could just hit me, right? You could hit me and I have to go back. So anyway, it probably doesn't make a big difference, but this is perhaps a clearer situation now to understand. And then what's the last layer of White's plan, Cesar? Exactly. So this is, I think, what Brian was saying, that we will play like this and create the pass pawn. And we tried to save Black here, but it was not easy. And I think another idea was to play, maybe we could fix pawns. Question, any White move which fixes pawns here? Rohan says C4 and so says Happy Pawn. We have a new user, Coach Brian. Wow, we have another coach here. That's nice. Company from a fellow coach. C4, yeah, this is what we said, right? And we can fix the pawns on the corresponding color. No? Something like that we were discussing last time. And this was the plan. Maybe in the middle game we would play G3 and F4, right? But in an end game, we are interested in creating an outside pass pawn. I think we had enough of this endgame, right? So we should continue, we should move on. I thought about showing you a very old game. Yeah, I want to show an old game. So I hope it's okay. We look at a game which was played back in 1958. A game from 1958. Question, which is your favorite world champion? Question, what's your opinion? No, we had last time 1932, Oski. Magnus, Gary, Capablanca. We had all Robert James Fisher, very good choice. We have all kinds of world champions. The only one I don't see coming up here is Max Euwe, no? But the rest, they come up here, most of them. No, I can see. So I thought I should show you a game played by my favorite world champion that nobody mentioned, but yeah, no problem. We all have different tastes and so on. Yeah, I like Mikhail Tan's games very much, but I want to show you a game by Petrosyan. Yeah, Botvinnik, that's another great player to look at his games and his comments and so on. So, all right, let's check this game. You could say it's a game which contains a little of everything. For instance, fixing pawns, okay? And please do me a favor. Don't look up the game. I mean, you could look up the game right now and then pretend to be very smart that you can guess every move and so on. Try not to do that and try to think for yourself, right? You can look up the game later, right? But hopefully not right now, okay? So let's have a look here. We have an English, Petrosyan in general. Petrosyan always liked more closed battles, and you could say strategically complex games. I have a trivia for you. Which opening did Petrosyan probably never play? Probably never play? There aren't so many, no? There aren't so many. No, I think he played E4 also. He had E4 games. No, Sicilian he played with Black all the time. That was his favorite opening with Black. The Benko, it came up also. All those openings he played. I'll tell you an opening that I think he did not play. Okay, King's Gambit. Brian is very close. I think he didn't play the King's Gambit. I was thinking of this opening, the Petrov now. This kind of opening, like the famous Petrov defense, this did not come up in his games, as far as I know. He was more into closed games. So that's one example. Probably Brian's King's Gambit is also a possible answer. But in any case, he liked very much to play more closed battles. And you can see with Black a lot of Sicilians, with White English, D4 openings and so on. Also with Black, you can see he has King's Indian, Benoni, and things like that. So the more close, the better. But what I'm saying, I will soon contradict myself, because the game starts like this, and at this point, Petrosyan played g3, I think. Aha. So basically, if black wants, we can enter the dragon, right? We would get the dragon. Is that? Yeah, exactly. Sicilian with both sides. Exactly, Steve. There is some kind of connection to that. So we have Sicilian dragon with extra tempo, no? Yeah, I also think it's nice for white. They play it a lot, right? They still play it a lot. Sometimes they play bishop, knight b6, sorry. I think this line with bishop c5 became popular lately, something like that. And you can find many games that they play like this. I think even lately there was a move like that. Is that maybe Carlsen, Pragananda Carlsen? Maybe? Those of you who have good memory of openings? I think that's what Magnus Carlsen played. He went back with a knight and it was castled. And I think he played bishop d6 and that was b4 or something like that. You can check that game if you like. It's an interesting line in any case. But in this game, after g3, Banik with the black pieces played d6. And here instead of bishop g2, Petrosyan played d4. So I had a question here to you. Oh, I see, Steve, possibly a Giri game. So why 5d4 and not 4d4? Can anyone tell me the difference? Why didn't he play then like Botvinnik used to play? d4 here. Why did he play g3? Aha, Brian knew this. So this is what we call opening logic, right? Yeah, you knew this. Many of you, opening logic. Yeah, we play it happily here. If you play it there, on the other hand, you allow them to play bishop b4. I think that is also minor line bishop c5, but this is one of the differences. Now here you can see this is Botvinnik's old favorite line, no? Old favorite line. I think there is a game. I have a game in Mastering Chess Strategy with Coach Greg. Aha, I think it's Greg with White versus Akopian, which comes from this opening. Yeah, you could ask Greg next time about this game. I think this is what Greg played on that occasion. Anyway, so Brian is right. In this case, black can go bishop b4. So in this game, he goes g3 first, and after d6, he could have played bishop g2, but he actually played d4 instead. So I was thinking a little about this, and I asked myself, all right, if he actually played bishop g2, was there anything he could be worried about? And I said maybe he didn't like bishop e6. So I checked the opening tree. No problem, flawless. Guess which move is very popular with white here? I'm just off topic completely now, but I'm just curious about what you guys would see here. Oh, knight e5. Yeah, maybe you can play like that also. Bishop takes and queen a4. I don't know. Does it pay off? Yeah, you're right, Advik. d4 turned out to be very popular in this position. And you can imagine, Advik, if black takes on c4, what happens in that case, Advik? They can't do that, right? Aha, you can play d5 and we don't win a piece, right? We don't win a piece, but we get a better position, no? It seems. We win the bishop power. Right, Advik? We're waiting. Oh, Advik is thinking. Yeah, no problem with Advik. It's great to think. Aha. Something like this, and white should be better, no? With bishop power and so on. Anyway, so completely off topic. He did not play bishop d2, but if you're interested, it's funny that you would expect him to play something like d3, but actually d4 is scoring well in this position, yeah. Anyway, so d4 was played in the game, and Banik played here g6. So already you could say it's a little murky opening by black, right? Murky opening, not clear exactly what's going on here. Petrosyan could close the game, but he actually decided to open up the game instead, and he took on e5. Question: should black take with knight? Aha, you're right, Jazz, or pawn. You can still move the pieces. Okay, Advik, thanks for reminding me. So, should you take with the knight or should you take with the pawn? What do you think? I know what Jazz means. It looks a little like the rat. Take with the knight, says Flawless Fighter. Yeah, this is the rat, right? I think that's what you mean. This one is not recommendable for white. Don't play that here, right? Bad choice with white. Whatever you do, please don't play like this and c6 and king c7. Don't play like that. But then you can play it one move later, right? If you play knight e5. Here it's already fine to play it, right? Here it's perfectly fine to play with white, since the knight is committed to f6. But I'm not sure if there is an advantage. And then the other case is when they play the modern, right? When they play like this, I think it is, like this and that and this. This is another case here. Here they can safely take on e5 also. So anyway, many cases like this. I think black is okay here also in this case. How many of these do you know? There are many more, right? You have the, what's that? That's opening. This opening you know also, of course. This one. But this one is a bit different now. This one is a bit different because you can put the bishop on c4. Although they say that black is fine in this line. No, it's better to play knight f3. All I'm saying is that it comes up in a variety of situations. So it's not like it's banned from opening practice or anything. It's possible to play it. Anyway, back to our question. Yeah, d takes e5. Oh, I see, Flawless. Interesting. Exactly, Rohan. Rohan has a good point here. Please, Rohan, tell us, how would you take back on e5? Aha, we take with the knight so we can play c6 later. Taking with the pawn would be very dangerous, right? They could play something like this and try to put the knight there. So Banik took like that instead. You were right, Rohan, and in this case, we can see that we can play c6 soon in this game. And Petrosyan did play bishop c5. So you see, I'm taking back a little. I'm taking back that that he didn't like open positions. But I guess he felt he had something going on here, right? And that's why he liked this situation. So already here, black needs to be very careful. I like this for white. Yeah, me too, because I saw the game. Okay, from all black's options, which is the only decent one? What do you think? If I flip the board for you, one moment. King e8 says Rohan, Panda, Advik. Brian says knight d7. Nobody says bishop d7. Yeah, I understand why. There is only one knight, Flawless, so it's enough to say knight d7. Okay. Those of you who said king e8, you didn't see any danger on the sky? No danger here? Yeah, Petrosyan would see that in a millisecond. Some people say no. You can resign, exactly, Brian. He was not worse than Tal in tactics. Some say it was just a matter of style. No? While Tal would execute the tactical blows and so on, Petrosyan would keep them in the pocket or consider them in his variations and so on. Yeah, bishop d8, and you can take. You can maybe take on f6 also, but if you like rook takes d8, it's also very beautiful. So this did not happen in the game. Brian was right. Knight d7 was played in the game. We can evidently not play bishop d7 either, right? Yeah, not a good idea. Aha, you're right, Oski. Yeah, game over here, bishop h3. Yeah, I mean, here it works, right? But if the rook were somewhere else, who said this? Oski. I could play king e8, right? This only works because you can take my rook next turn. But else you could just take first, perhaps, and then play. Oh, no, I'm wrong, maybe. Yeah, you could play like this also, but then you would have to see f4. Okay, so I guess none of these variations were completely evident in that case, or what would you say? Convincing. Anyway, so knight d7 was played in the game, and now this move I have to quiz you for. What do you think the great Tigran Petrosyan played now? I won't give any hints at all. Aha, Jazz, Yugoslavia, and Steve, Oski. The other line was very tempting. Happy Pawn, Dam, Shooting Stars, Steve, Hollow Blade. The other line, bishop takes e7 is very tempting. Now king takes knight e5. That's what I'm saying. Petrosyan, he saw these tactics, but he was not convinced. So what did he play here, Alan? You were fastest, I think, or one of the fastest was Alan. Please tell us. Okay, bye, Yegna. It was great seeing you. Hope you can stay more time next time. Aha, he played h4. So when people say that the h4 move is Stockfish property, I don't agree at all. This was long time it was discovered now, these kinds of ideas like h4. Petrosyan understood this perfectly, that gaining space is never wrong, you could say, ahead of his time, exactly. Gaining space and adding more options, no? So I don't think it's Stockfish property. This is something we get to play h5 later, maybe. They never want to take like this, of course. And weaknesses in their camp and things like that. So nice move h4. Now, those of you who said bishop takes, don't get angry. I understand this was very tempting for you. And play knight e5, and then you wanted to play probably... Yeah, knight f6, I can just go back, right? You wanted to play bishop h3, of course. Yeah, anyone would be tempted to play like this, right? Anyone. But it seems he calculated this. So he said f5, and those of you who said this variation, what were you going to play next? Yeah, not so difficult, no? Of course, you wanted to play e4. So, I mean, it was easy just to stop here and say, oh, white must be winning. But it seems that Petrosyan, he continued analyzing this. And his variation went like this, knight e3 and f4. Strangely enough, it wasn't winning for white, I think. The rook can come to protect the knight, if I'm not mistaken. This looks winning, I agree. Bishop takes d7, it's winning, really? You'll have to show it. I mean, I believe you. I just don't see how it's winning. You want to play knight g4. Yeah, I play rook e8. Knight f6, I have rook e7, right? King c7 is my next move, by the way. Okay, somebody who can calculate this, or maybe there was something very strong here. I don't know, like rook d6 is a blunder now, king c7. Knight f6, rook e7, you can play rook d6 maybe. I will play king c7, you can play rook d1. I'll put my knight somewhere, my bishop somewhere, bishop h3 perhaps. I don't know. No, I don't know. How do you know what Petrosyan calculated? No, I certainly don't know. I'm not a mind reader, and he passed away like 50 years ago, or 45 years ago. I don't know if I was even born when he left. But in any case, I'm just guessing that he calculated this, and he couldn't see it clearly. And there were some comments also. There were some comments done. You can sometimes check. You can check for old comments. For instance, in the chess informant, in the chess-base, megabase, these are sources where you can see old annotations. You could say nowadays annotations basically, what's the chess informant? Yeah, you need to inform yourself. Computer analysis, right? Back in those days, they analyzed, on their own. So you can find Petrosyan's analysis, but by himself, not by Stockfish or AlphaZero, right? So those were different times. Anyway, so interesting line. I'm not sure if we are winning here with white, but in any case, Petrosyan said, okay, I'll play the flexible move h4. So let's say black plays h6. What's the effect of including h4 and h6? Anyone? So we can move on a little in this story. What does this mean? Aha, the king side is weaker, so you could take, and then what would you play probably? Yeah, everybody understands this, Rohan, for instance, exactly. This is what he was aiming at. So for instance, who was saying this? Rohan, yeah. So you can see here, Rohan, if I play g5, this time I'm actually dead lost, right? Now I'm dead lost because I can't block the bishop anymore, right? Exactly. Now we play knight e5. We play bishop h3. So you can see the difference, right? If these moves are not in, black might be able to block with f5. Whereas on this occasion, there is no such move because we fixed the weakness or something. Instead of h5, can we start with knight e5? Instead of h5, can we start with knight e5? I think you can, yeah, sure. You could play like that, and now you want to play what? Bishop h3. I think so. And if f5, you want to play h5. I think this works fine. Yeah, I think I'm one tempo down to defend this with black. I don't think I can defend it. So good point. Excellent observation. So all roads lead to Rome here in this case. Let's come back to the game. The game is very rich, so I don't want to stay for too long right here. Let's continue. Yeah, he played f6 in the game, Banik. Probably the best move because now at least we don't have to worry about this knight move to d5. But there was something else here. So I have a question. What would Stockfish play with black here? Anyone? If Stockfish it would never get here in the first place, of course. But if it got here, if you forced it to play, What do you think it would play after h4? Yeah, you could play c6 also. It's not illegal to play it, but I think this is what he had planned. Now you can't play f6 anymore, and you need to be careful about knight d6 also. Yeah, I don't think you should play this. This, I think, was also analyzed by Petrosyan. Yeah, this is dangerous also. He saw some tactics here in this case. But this should be an easy question. Okay, Petrosyan played h4. Imagine Petrosyan versus Stockfish. What would Stockfish reply? Of course, Flawless and Brian. Yeah, he would play h5. Or it would play h5. So this was probably the best move. Why didn't Banik play it? Because Banik maybe was not as well informed as Petrosyan about these space gaining moves. In any case, one thing we can notice here is that White gained something from this. So question, what did White gain? Did White gain anything? Good point, Chessort. We fixed the weakness, right, on g6. We can't attack it right now, but who knows in the future? Maybe in some variation the bishop can come and attack it, or you made it to play, I don't know, f4 or something. Send your knight down. So some kind of weakness that you can work on, exactly. But even so, this was the best choice for black, h4. So h4, h5, good to remember this. f6, the bishop goes to e3. Please notice Petrosyan has no intention to play e4. Why not e4 in this game? Why doesn't he play e4? Why didn't he go to d2 instead with the bishop? Or to h6, you would say. Maybe some tactic over here. Aha, weakens d4. And also we want that square for the knight, right, later. So that's why he played bishop e3 here. Again, it seems black should have played h5, but then white can at least take the bishop out. In the game, Banik played c6, and I think everybody can guess Petrosyan's next move here. It seems so, exactly. That move comes later at Vic and Dumb. He will play it much later, but right now he's in the business of fixing pawns. We have many winners here. Flawless, Hollow, Jazz, Panda, Happy Pawn, Steve, Brian, Shooting Stars, Cesart, Oski, Rohan, and so on. Yeah, sorry if I repeated the names. I love Panda. Please, Panda, what did you play here? Before black does it, right? Before black does it, we will do it. Correct, Hollow? Alpha style. If you like, exactly. Thank you, Hollow. h5 was played in the game. So some kind of pressure on black. They had to play here a move that they don't like to play. They had to play g5. It's very ugly, I admit that. But at the same time, if I play something like rook g8, what do you think would happen, Hollow? Oh, sorry, Hollow. Oh, it was Panda. Sorry, I mixed up the names, or something happened on my side. Yeah, you wouldn't like White's rook to invade like that. So that's exactly what happened. Yeah, hello to Greg. Great to see you. We were talking about Greg's game today. English game, Greg versus Akopian, I think it was. But we didn't talk very much about it. It just came up today while we were... Yeah, he was playing very well in that game. But very nice, very instructive game. I think so, yeah, about doubled pawns. That's why I put it in Mastering Chess Strategy. Yeah, we were talking about the English, and in this game by Petrosyan had played g3 and then he played d6. So I was asking, why didn't he play d4 instantly? And Brian, for instance, said that then black could play bishop b4. And then I remember Greg's game after bishop d5 and so on. Yeah, you can look it up later. Yeah, Akopian, you know, world-class player, and Akopian beat Kasparov once and so on. So he was world champion under 20 also, Akopian. Greg was white, I think. Yeah, but okay, Greg can tell you in another class about that game. But about the English now. So Petrosyan didn't allow this move bishop before because he played g3 first. So coming back to this old game, let's see if I can come back. Yeah, we said h5, provoking weaknesses, and after g5, I think everybody can guess the next move. I will only give you 30 seconds, okay? Because it's very evident. Aha, Panda, Hollow Blade, Oski, Rohan. Oh, some of you really want to fix pawns. He did that much later. Steve and Drilled and Brian and Pop. I see your point. You could have played that also. I guess he felt there was no rush to do it. No, Greg Shahadi also got this one. You see, Greg knows his English, although I don't think you get this kind of structure very often in the English, do you? Looks more like some kind of King's Indian situation, perhaps. Okay, we have many winners here. Happy Pawn, you're right in front of me. What did he play here, Petrosyan? Oh, now again I have to be careful with the names. Okay, Happy Pawn, what did White play here? We could have played g4, of course, fixing pawns, but he preferred to do that later. Bishop h3 installs a big threat now. I think it was in the book. Yeah, it's about the trade later on. Big threat here for White. You're right. Exactly, shooting. Rook takes d7 followed by the rook d1. That's the big threat. Black evidently played, I think, king c7 now. Yeah, in Chereshevsky's, that's a great book, great endgame book. I think it's in the chapter about trades, I think. That's where we will hopefully arrive today also, because last class, that's why I bring this game up. Last class, we came across the situation of an unexpected trade. And I remember this game, and maybe some of you remember I was trying to pull this game up last time, but I couldn't find it. So I did my homework, and here is the game. So, okay, let's continue. By the way, some of you said c5. I understand c5, it's possible, but I would play king c7, hitting this pawn. And if b4, anyone, what would Black play then? Black's best move here? Aha, a5, exactly. a5 would come, and suddenly Black they wouldn't complain anymore about having lost the right to castle. They would get counterplay on the queen side and so on. So please don't play c5 later. But the good news is that he will do it later in this game, all right? So bishop h3, king c7. And anyone? Could you guess White's next move at this point? Aha, you're right, Edvik. Yeah, it's very intuitive. It's very intuitive. Knight e4. This is the next move. He's basically preventing, I think, knight c5 by playing like this, knight e4. And he put some more pressure on these pawns. No need to fix them yet, right? We can fix them later, but first we wanted to improve our bishop now. So knight e4, Black played knight b6. So in the end, White had to trade off the bishop. You could say, in a way, it's a good trade for White because Black ends up with a bad bishop. But then at the same time, it's also good for Black because they get closer to finishing development. So the pawn is hanging. We don't have time for d4, else he would have played that, of course. So I have a question here with White. Yeah, don't hang c4. Would you just play b3 or rather take on b6? I think Petrosyan, he didn't comment on this, but for me it was an interesting question. Take then g4, knight f5. So Steve, the question is for you. Could you win from there? Could you win from there? I would even say it's... Aha, he played b3 in the game, Greg, you're right. He kept all doors open, which is in a way surprising though. You would say, oh, now White got a chance. I just take and I play g4 and I can bring my knight to f5. But the next question is, can you actually win that position? Knight on b6, not great. Yeah, you're right. The knight is probably having to go, it has to go back later. But I have another question here. Should Black, in general terms, does Black like to take with pawn or king on b6? I'm curious about your answer. In general terms, you would take with the pawn. Yeah, you would think that, but I have a counter theory. My theory, a takes b6 is a middle game move, okay? Or opening move. While king takes b6 is more useful in the endgame. We will come to this. I might be wrong on this. In any case, I can't play king takes b6 here, right? Let's ask somebody. Let's ask... I love Panda. This time I have you right in front of me. Panda, why couldn't I take with the king? What's the tactical? Exactly. Tactical issue, and I can't play rook c7. Oh, you're a little too methodical, no? You could play like that, but if you want to win the game, you could go home earlier if you play c5, and here you can take in both ways, right? Exactly, and pick up on c5, or take instantly if you want to be more flashy like that. So Here there is no choice. You would have to take like this. So anyone, you have a question, Flawless. All right, I'm listening. I'll drink some more of my coffee. Tell me your question. Yeah, feel free to tell us the question. So in the line, yeah, exactly. So good point. Thanks for bringing that up, Flawless. If you take some London line, let's say we just pick one of the London lines, something like this. Yeah, let's say, yeah, I don't even know if this exists. I think I messed up already. Yeah, somehow I messed up here. White can take on c5, but forgive me for that. Let's say that the game was like this, and black takes on b3. Should we take with knight or pawn on b3? Anyone? How would you take? Aha, I think every London player will always take with the pawn, right? The same goes for black, right? The same goes for black. If black ever had a choice, like if the position was, I don't know, if you just imagine now something like this. Well, this is maybe not a good example, actually. No, maybe black would actually take with the knight in this case. Yeah, forgive me about that. But from white's perspective, I think it's pretty clear that you will always take with a pawn. You would just love to have this pawn structure, right? And play b4 and so on. So all I'm saying that in the opening, it's great to take with a pawn like that. But maybe in the endgame, it's not as simple. But we will come to that. I'm just saying it's a typical pattern in many openings now that you take like that. Or maybe if you play London, let's say you play something like this, you would play bishop g3, and you're very happy if they take like that, and so on. So you capture towards the center with some exceptions. Now we can talk about that some other day. Okay, interesting topic. Maybe we should do double pawns. I'll keep that in mind. Maybe we could do double pawns one day. We can check some examples about double pawns. Anyway, coming back to the topic of today. So we have arrived at this position. So Petrosyan played b3. The question was, if we take on b6, would white win this? I have to take with the pawn, although I think king takes was what black would like to play. So can we win? Can white win? Would white win here? I tried now. I analyzed a little here. So you can guess the next move that I played here. I think I was taking white, and I let the computer take black. So g4, of course, fixing the pawns. Question, should black trade just one pair of rooks or both rooks? No, we're not playing the computer. Of course, you need to keep the human mind. But I just thought it was practical to play the computer. No, I don't. You should just trade one pair, exactly. So the line went like this. I was doing exactly the same plan as somebody said here, rook takes. And this was the interesting moment. So here the computer told me that this is what black has to play. You play rook a8, black must keep. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't go together. But it can be interesting to see how far it can actually analyze and show a win and so on. So this is something I was looking at. One idea for black was to play rook here and try to play b5. I mean, the knight can come to f5 at any stage, but from there, how do you progress at this point if I have these squares defended? Yeah. Oh, a3, rook a4. Interesting. I didn't notice that. I thought you could just play b5 and try to open up the game a little. But it seems it's not so easy to win from here. Okay? But then I thought it was interesting to see what happens if you just trade rooks. Okay? So, anyone, what's white's winning plan here? White's winning plan? The bishop covers how many squares? 1, 2, 3, 4. The knight covers 1, 2, 3, 4. No, but I understand the knight is stronger in the long run. Aha, you're right, Flawless. We would trade and send the knight to f5 and the king to e4. But what do you do after that? Yeah, if you can send the king to e5, it's nicer. But I won't let that happen, of course. I'll put my king on e6. e3, f4, I don't think it's the right plan. You're trading off my weak pawns. You have to play on the queen side. Exactly, Brian. You have to go for queen side play. So this was very interesting. I just, played out natural moves. Black, I just had him wait here. I just played waiting moves. And I think now I let the computer take white instead. So the computer was saying all the white moves, and I was just waiting with black. So how do you think it won from here? Where should the knight be to win? You can't get to f5 with the king, right? The knight could be on f5, sure. But if you play knight f5 and I move the bishop, and then I just move my king, what's your winning plan? Knight e2, knight c3. Oh, I see. Knight e2, knight c3. You want to go to a4? I will play bishop d8. In the end, you need to do something with your pawns now. Pawns needed here. You can't just maneuver and expect to win. Aha, c5 must come at some point. So I think he was saying something like this. Let's see. Knight e2. He sent the knight to c1. Yeah, this was not completely clear to me what happened here. And now he finally moved the pawns forward. So there comes your move, princess and the chess crusher. Now he played c5. Okay, so what's going on here? You can see there is some kind of, what's the name of it? Outside passed pawn. Yeah, it's interesting to analyze with it, no? Outside passed pawn scenario, no? You're trying to trade off c for b so that you can get possibly outside passed pawn. And you're always playing for Zugzwang, right? So remember this position, please. Remember this, and we will come back to this very, very soon. Somebody, I need one volunteer. Let's take, well, that is not a volunteer. Okay, somebody who can show me how to win with white from here. Skilled Saber. All right, Skilled. Skilled hasn't said anything today, so Skilled, you're on. Win from here, Skilled. You can get help from the rest now if you're stuck or something. Take a knight c5. You can't win like that, I think, Hollow. That's a bad piece of advice. I think I can just take and wait. I don't know if you can win this. Yeah, I'm waiting. It's a good thing I have the pawn on h7 still. Not convincing. I'm just waiting here all day. Unless you, yeah, f4. I'm taking, coming back. Not convincing. I'm very sorry. I don't believe in this. No problem. It's good that you looked at it. It's a typical idea, right? To trade into the pawn endgame. Okay, but our friend Skilled Saber hasn't said anything so far. Princess, you're trying to a5, exactly, a5. And now I need to stay here. And now comes the important move here. Key move for white. Hint, look at the whole board, Skilled. Look at the whole board. I mean, Zugzwang, right? Exactly. Interesting, now we fixed the pawn on the wrong color, so to say. But for a good reason. We are now achieving Zugzwang. And white is winning. Aha. What would be the winning plan from here? Anyone? What's the winning plan? Weird endgame, but practical, Nicole. You could get this in the game. Aha, the knight will maneuver. Yeah, you can imagine where the knight will end up. Yeah, should I make a few moves? I can't really touch the pawn on this side. I can play c5, but then you play b5. Yeah, I wait just for Skill to show us the idea. Aha. That's it, and we go and take this pawn. I mean, I could have tried maybe to move the bishop. Could I have done that? Here, maybe. I moved the bishop, but I don't think it works anyway. Aha. Please continue, Skilled. You will Zugzwang me again, I think. Skilled. You'll Zugzwang me again. Don't worry. Just stick to your plan and you will Zugzwang me again. Do we have lag or what? Oh, no, he came here. Okay. Oh, I played stupidly. Sorry, my bad endgame technique. I should play like that, of course. Please continue, Skilled. No, I just said I wanted to get like this. I want to have this situation with the bishop like that, right? This is what I wanted. Yeah, don't worry about the pawn. Your pawn is much faster, right? Aha. And now you play f3, exactly. So that's the second Zugzwang. If I take, you will take, and you're too fast. And if I play bishop d8, you can see the... No, oh, it won a pawn earlier. Oh, I see. Okay. I see your point. It's an example, exactly. Sorry, Chess Crusher. Yeah, exactly. I understand. We messed up the move order. Okay, so let's see. We had this position now. So your mission is to get to e4, but you shouldn't lose the pawn in the process. What did you play? You played knight c1, and I played bishop b8, just to get this straight. Yeah, to get this straight? What happened here? So bishop e2 is better. Oh, Brian says we should go by b2. Sorry, Brian, I didn't pay attention. That's smarter, of course, so that we touch the d6 square in the meantime. Yeah, that's extremely smart. I see what you mean. Aha, now we can play it, and we send the knight to e4. So, interesting now. interesting. I hope everybody understands now what happened here, right? If black goes to take the pawn now, it's not good for them because white is very fast with a mating attack and so on. Anyway, so let's come back. Let's come back to the position which came up here, right? Anyone remembers what was the move? What was white's key move here? Exactly, c5. We need to do something with our pawns, creating like a new target now, opening up a new front or creating a new weakness. So I was not completely convinced by all this, but I mean the computer is never wrong. But what I did was the following. Let's see if I can do this and make it understandable. So I took the same position, but I undoubled the pawn, all right? I took the same position and I undoubled the pawn like that. Okay, question. What do you think changes? Or nothing changes? Now it's a draw, you're saying. Why are you saying that? No weaknesses, but you can always create those weaknesses, right? Yeah, not yet now. You're right, good point. More difficult to create. No, it was still 3 versus 3. Oh, you mean the 3 pawn stay, all right, to create a weakness now. So I thought this was interesting. I looked a little with the engine here, and maybe white can win. You would say, in practical terms, it should be possible. It should be possible. But there was no really completely convincing line after bishop d8. But it was still very tricky. So just for fun, yeah, bishop d8, let's say, and white plays knight b2, trying to send a knight to c4. So interesting, in this position, there was only, oh, sorry, something, I misclicked something here. Wait for me. Sorry, guys, technical mistake. What happened here? Coming back. So bishop d8, knight b2. Only one equal. I think that's not correct, Steve. It cannot be equal. The engine says maybe the engine could say 0, 0, 0 because it calculates like 30 moves ahead, right? It calculates 30 moves ahead. But not for humans. Not for humans. No, yeah, exactly. You can't. Practicality, exactly. It cannot be objectivity. Wow, that's beautiful English. So in any case, in this position, only one move worked for. Exactly. You could try to grind it with white, but maybe it might be a draw. But here, for instance, there was only one move which worked for black. I'm just curious. Oh, I see, Steve. We talked about something else. Aha, no problem. What would you play with black? I'm just curious. Black's best move, hint, active defense. How could you even be active? Aha, you're right, Oski. All right, Oski, show us. You will show us the solution. So that's how you play. Okay, what's the point? The point of a5? Oh, you said first, Steve. Sorry about that. Okay. What's the point of a5? Why do we play it? Anyone? To create a weakness ourselves. Yeah, we are creating a weakness now. This was the only move. If you played passively bishop c7. Okay, who was complaining? Steve. All right, Steve, this is your golden opportunity. Beat me with white from here, Steve. If I defend passively, what would happen? We will check your endgame skills now, Steve. You were angry you were not picked. Now you were picked, so you have to win with white. All right, just play naturally. Okay, a5, interesting. I will keep this for later, but maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah, I guess I just have to wait then. Maybe I can send my bishop to this diagonal now. Or am I afraid of this move? Oh, maybe I should be afraid of that. Then I have to go back, I guess. So how could you win from here? Okay, I guess I have to wait myself. No, let's see. Are you doing something like that? I'm afraid of this move. I think I'll play a6 myself so that you can't play a6. Oh, sorry, I'm not looking in the chat. Okay, we're waiting. h6, yeah, the key move, right? Trying to impose a zugzwang. So I guess I would have to play like that. But I don't see the winning plan here. Is there a winning plan? Oh, start to maneuver. Okay. But you can certainly grind me down here. I'm old and tired and things like that. Anyway, I can maybe go and take your pawn. Are you taking into account that plan, Steve? You wanted to put the knight on g7. Wow, that's interesting. Aha. Yeah, a nice plan, but I mean, I'm also in this game, right? I also have a chance to play. So interesting. Should we go back a little, maybe? Maybe, Steve. I wouldn't have committed a5 so soon. You don't have any specific reason to play it right now. Okay. Rohan, you're next, okay? Rohan, you're talking about USF rating. I will switch the topic now. You're playing white now, Rohan. What would you play? I meant b5. Oh, interesting. But if you play b5, you give me maybe a passed pawn in the end. Interesting, maybe b5. I don't know. If you play b5, what would I play? Maybe I would just wait. All right, Rohan, I'll just wait also. But this was winning, just for your information. No, this was winning for white. There was a way to win this. Yeah, exactly. Brian has a good point. Why would you spend that tempo right now? Okay, let's see. You're playing like that. I guess now it got a little uncomfortable. I need to play, let's see here if I can somehow relate to this. I think I play like this. And now when knight e6 comes, I play b6, I think. Can I do that, or I need to somehow trade the pawns here, right? Knight e6. Okay, let's see. If I take, you take. Oh, that's very bad for me. I think I'm the one who messed up this time, actually. Yeah, I think I moved my bishop badly, no? b6 wins. For black, you mean? That's a surprising verdict. Knight b7, it would win? I have a hard time understanding that. I don't think black can win here, right? No, let me go back a little. You played knight c4, but I can't play bishop e7, right? Yeah, what would I play then? Wait a little. If I play b6, I'm just curious. Could I play like that, or you just take and you push the pawn, right? Right. This is very dangerous for me, right? Yeah, I cannot play that. Aha. So I have to sit and wait then. But it's a surprising move, f3, because it was a waiting move for later. But okay, you played like that, and you played. Is this what you played? Who was moving? Rohan was moving, right? Yeah. Bishop c7, and you played b6. Yeah. Let me think a little. Oh, did I have a5 here? Oh, that's the move I would love to play, but they have b5 also, right? I'm afraid that he will just go and take my pawn like that. Or I shouldn't be afraid of this. Looks scary from here. But maybe you can... I should be afraid, yeah. Let's check again. I still think that I could defend, but like with passive defense in this case. If I play a6, by the way, and you play knight e6 and I play b6, is this any good effect? Knight b7, I go bishop c7. No, I think I'm going down here. Yeah, you're taking, and yeah, I also don't understand this move, but I see you take and you play a5 or knight c5, really? Don't play that. That has to be a draw, right? I can close the doors. No, you play a5, right? a5 has to be the good move here. a5 is easy now because you have either this or that. I would have to play knight bishop a7. No, still not clear, no? I still need to see a few more moves before I believe in this. I just noticed that Yeah, you noticed this a long time ago, but I can actually come back, right? And what did you gain from this? Not clear, no? H6. Knight H6. I don't think I understand what you're doing here. Careful, now my counterplay is coming now, or no? C5. Oh, black has C5. I agree completely. Yeah, black is playing for a win now. So not so simple, not so simple. Okay, wow, this will take ages to analyze this endgame. We will continue next week, by the way. We will have to continue with this one. Then we will do middle game stuff, all right? I know maybe some of you are tired of checking endgames and so on, but I think it's very useful. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, you would say, oh, the knight will always beat the bishop and so on, but I wouldn't be so sure. So anyway, let's see, what did you say here? Knight c4 and bishop d8. Yeah, it's complex to play this, but in practical terms, it's very hard to play like this. Knight e6, and oh, I think I blundered here, right? You're sending you can, exactly, play knight c8. So I blundered here, So I have to play a6. And now I think comes our favorite move. Anyone? What's our favorite move here? The one we used, exactly, Rohan and Flawless. Yeah, exactly. Flawless, you came late today, but we will forgive you since you have a very nice icon. So please go ahead, Flawless. What was the move here? There you are. It looks like the other endgame we looked at, right, with the pawn on b6. So here black is in Zugzwang because they can't keep away the knight. I would have to play bishop d8. But it was still nice. The final touch here is very nice. You'll see the final touch. Go for it, Flawless. Yeah, what's the problem with bishop e6, with bishop d8? Yeah, exactly. So I have to play b6, but it was still quite tricky. Well, a little. Remember what Brian said, that the move f3, we need to keep it in the pocket. Now you will see why. Now you'll see why. Yeah, Chessart is seeing all the moves. Good point, Chessart. Knight b7, bishop c7. I have to think. Yeah, the problem is that time is an issue here. CB, exactly. CB. Don't let me play b5, I think. If you play f3 here, I might be able to play b5, or no? Or that wouldn't change anything. I'm just worried about the knight, if it's ever coming out. So I wouldn't play like that, but I can't. I'm not sure. Maybe you can come out like this. But it takes this endgame to a new dimension. Now maybe I can take and maybe black is winning now instead. No, not winning, but a draw at least. Yeah, don't play like that. CB, bishop takes b6. I don't. Yeah. This is how you should play. Here, you should play like that, right? And now the key move. Anyone? I'm just curious. You will get 15 seconds. Chessart, Yugoslavian Jazz, Brian, Steve, Nicole, Santos, Shooting Stars. Oh, many of you wanted to play a5. Interesting. If you play a5, I go bishop a7. But then you use up your tempo, right? Or you don't care about that? I hope everybody agrees that if you play a5, you can't play knight a5 anymore. I play bishop a7 in that case. You don't think it's smarter to keep that option? We will ask Anushka. Anushka, what was your move here? Oh, now Sarthak arrived. Okay, great to see you, Sarthak, but it was Anushka's turn. f3, there you are, right? If you play a5 first, bishop a7, f3, I suppose I could move the king, or no? Oh, I cannot move the king, maybe. If I play king e7, you don't think you drop this pawn, Panda? In this case, maybe no, maybe yes, maybe no, but it's one argument at least. So I think it's cleaner what Anushka says. We go f3 first, and now I have a tough choice, right? Because if I go bishop a7, now you can make my king move, no? Now you can play knight a5, exactly. I have to protect. This is very ugly now. I can't play like that. Speaking of fixing pawns, everyone can see white's next move here, right? Of course, b5, and we have a golden square on c4. So I would have to play king somewhere, no? King d7, I mean, something like that. But then you would play. Aha, king f5. Problem is over here also, right? We shouldn't forget about that little pawn. It can be attacked quite easily and we get the passed pawn. So we don't even care if we lose that pawn, I think, or something. So this looks difficult for black. So what can I play after f3? I would have to play king e7 instead. And then basically you can imagine the rest here, Anushka, right? If the king just moved away, Princess, you can also join us. Princess, you can make a few more moves here. It would be great if everyone could make a move here. But anyway, maybe next time. So please, Princess, if I just played king e7, you can listen to Chess Crusher and Nicole and Chess Salt and Dumb. Aha. Exactly. King f5. Sometimes you lose some, you win some, right? Now this pawn is a little shaky. Aha, now we